Welcome back, muchachones, to another episode of Todos Toman, episode 83, dude. Getting closer and closer to that 100 episode. Yeah,
Hell yeah, dude.
We got
we gotta
big
start
plans,
thinking.
¿no?
Y sí, güey, Nada más que los vamos a dejar en suspenso a todos, ¿no? A todos los thirsties, dude. No les vamos a decir ahorita nada, dude.
Yes, dude. We already got topic y todo, ¿no? For that episode y todo.
Y sí, güey.
We extra ready, dude.
Sí, dude. The ideas just keep flowing, dude.
Sí.
Y vamos a salir con un barra libre, ¿no? En el episodio.
Sí,
Sí, güey.
The unreliable, ¿no? Like the SpongeBob meme and shit. Like,
Oh, sí,
abre
güey.
la cajita. Like. Pero sí, güey, pues I am your co-host, diría, alguien por ahí.
Sí, sí.
Tank. I'm here joined by Johnny Boy and Romero, and we are missing El Miguelation, dude.
Yeah, dude. He just tries to get an excuse to be out of here, dude. And it's a friendly chat. It's a friendly podcast y todo, but he's never gonna watch this. So feel free to talk shit. Feel free. Unless somebody, un chismosito, vaya a decirle.
Ay,
Oílo.
oílo.
Porque
No, yeah, but we're
listen, ¿no?
Yeah. We're missing Miggy, obviously. Pero what was going on? I think he just had like a little headache, no? Something. Not to throw out his personal information.
Sí, güey.
He had a little headache and he made big boy decisions. And according to him, we might al doctor tomorrow.
According
According
to him.
Necesita unas, unas Advil que sean con receta de doctor, ¿no?
Y sí,
Vamos, muchachos.
y el Johnny Boy, ¿no? Güey? Ahí diciendo ahorita, like, oh, I mean, I'm sick, but I'm here, ¿no? Like,
Hey, dude, I am sick. I've been sick for already a week. Pero pues aquí estamos, muchachos, echándole ganas, ya saben, miren. Aquí, listo para to toast. To toast.
Ah, pues. I mean, sorry to disappoint, ¿verdad? Les voy a decir ahorita,
Oh, shit.
there's nothing new on the soundboard. So,
Oh, shit,
Ahí.
same Jesse.
ahí nos disculpan, pero
he logged off
pues, es que
already,
no hay
¿no? Ya.
presupuesto, no hay presupuesto para más, ¿eh?
He logged off, ya dice
Así
yes.
es que,
pero es
Ya.
que en el episode 5 se escuchaba bien chingón el soundboard, pero se cambiaron las
Sí.
cosas, ¿no?
Así
Por si
pasa.
quieren ir
He wants
atrás.
to go all the way back, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Tank, what are you drinking,
Va.
Tank?
Va, pues empezamos contigo, pero pues aquí un word for reserve in my favorite cup now, dude.
You see, that's a nice
Sí.
cup.
el que no muestra nada, ¿eh?
El que no,
Sí,
no.
güey. El Magician Cup, dude, aquí. Now
You
you
should
see,
get,
now
you
you
should get
don't.
another cup, dude. You should get another cup and do this, like on top of the cup, así just to make sure que sí hay
Mira,
algo.
güey, nada más tantito para que no digan por ahí, güey, que
Ah, pues sí,
es puro
tantito.
pedo, güey, ya.
Cuando cayó el primer chorrito, como que se oyó que cayó un vaso vacío, ¿eh?
Sí, güey.
No mames, güey.
La neta sí, güey.
I will show you, pero pues I don't want to get my keyboard wet and shit, ¿no?
Sí, sí, güey. Por eso te digo que un vasito así para...
Low-key,
Oh,
he wants a wet t-shirt contest, ¿no?
No mames, güey.
Va,
Va,
muchachos.
¿Qué estás tomando, Johnny Boy?
My girl made me a Bacardí con sangría drink. Limón y
Bien
sal.
sudadita, ¿eh? Te estaba esperando.
Muertita. It's been waiting. I haven't taken a sip. She did ask me earlier, like, how was it? But it was like, I haven't even tasted it. I mean, I tried them before, pero specifically this
Sí.
one, I haven't tested them.
No, Bacardí regular, no Bacardí limón, ¿ah?
Regular.
Va.
Yes. Limón, sal, sangría y Bacardí, obviously.
Yo,
What you got, Romero?
I got whiskey.
kind? Is it the one in the back? Yeah.
Sí, esta botellita.
¿Tú no estás a la que te llevó el
Weller's?
cookie?
No,
Okay.
esta. If I'm not mistaken, quiero
See,
pensar.
he took one and it was with the green label.
Oh, you know what? It was that he brought it that day. That day we did the cookout. You're right.
Yeah. Okay.
Sí,
That's
la
pretty
trajo.
good. It's really smooth.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Again, the mysteries behind the Willers. Whiskey es que it's hard to find. It's not an expensive bottle, but they sell it as a resale a veces, and then when you find them,
Really?
it's super expensive compared to the original cost. But it's really good whiskey. Y más que nada que I've been pairing it up with a cigar.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
So por eso ahorita pues ahora sí que le seguí con el whiskey. I didn't want to switch back to beer.
That's really good. I tried. Well, and I think we said that. No, I tried cigar for the first time when I went the last time over there, and it just pairs perfectly with the whiskey. So,
Yeah, dude.
right? Va, muchachos, pues hay que echarle, ¿no?
Saludito.
Porque ya el hielo. mira.
Salud, salud, sí.
Sí, sí.
Va. Hopefully I don't get sicker. Aquí con un cold drink. Todo por el podcast, dude. O sea, Mama race no bitch, dude. So,
Fuera mamadas, are you
Arriesgando
taking
la-
medicine o...
¿qué, güey?
Digo, fuera mamadas, are you taking any medicine or no?
Yeah. This past weekend I've been taking it was medicina de México, dude, que conocemos a alguien aquí que
Sí.
es una a pharmacist out there. And so she knows about it. Y,
El Vaporú, ¿no?
So,
sí. Alcohol en los
Underground
pies, ¿no?
smuggler.
Sí.
Yeah, dude. So she told us what to take or whatever, and I know my girl was getting better, but then randomly throughout the week, oh well, we went over her aunt's house on the weekend. They were making burgers, and then they started drinking. And they're like, "Do you want some?" I was like, "Nah, I don't want any." It's like, "Come on." I was like, "No, I don't feel good." Like, "Come on, just one." You know, a little bit of pre-pressure kind of breaks, someone
Una
down.
no es ninguna.
Sí, so they're like, ándale, mira, por eso me gustaba. I was like, órale, pues dámela, cabrón, ¿no? O sea, el macho. So one led to like 4 or 5, and then after the 5th one, I was like, yeah, I'm done. Like I felt sick originally, so I didn't even really wanted to go. And then I came home, slept or whatever. That's kind of like been my weekend. Yesterday, same thing. We went out, went to my suegra's house. We were there for a little bit. We probably stayed. I probably stayed for like an hour, and then I was like, I'm out. Same thing. So I just been chilling, but yeah, I've been drinking medicine. Today I just had el jarabe que me dio en la mañana, my girl, and then that's it. I haven't had anything since then, but I don't think I'm gonna have any. I honestly, I don't. Is it a thing, dude? Okay, you're not supposed to mix. Obviously, they say don't mix
No sé por eso te
alcohol.
pregunté, dude. Porque yo, what was it, last time we recorded? I was also like on my last day of antibiotics, and I drank the Monday, the holiday Monday, I think it was. So I guess 2 episodes ago, the holiday Monday, and then Tuesday we recorded. And I was on my last days of antibiotics, and I was like, I felt some sort of way. I'm like, I feel like they say you shouldn't mix, pero estas eran dosis de cada 12 horas. So I was like, sea lo que sea, pero pues ya salí de la pinche enfermedad de una o de otra, pero yeah, like I hear que you shouldn't, right?
Yeah.
Pero una de las cosas que dicen por qué no, porque any medicine, no, really fucks up with your body eventually, like your liver, whatever. So I'm thinking, I'm just trying to make 2 and 2 together. The medication obviously goes through your body, your kidneys, or lo que sea, and then le das de tomar, like alcohol on top of that. Like I just feel it's like double trouble type of scenario. No, I mean, again, I'm just putting 2 and 2 together. I do not know.
Yeah,
I'm
if
probably
anybody
wrong,
knows like the real reason why you shouldn't mix antibiotics or meds with alcohol here and there, definitely let us know.
sí, porque
Or at least ¿qué te dicen las mamás? You know, because the mama, like the moms are that like, you know, they'll have those things about like, oh, no comas when you go to the pool and type of shit. Like we talked about that briefly. It's
Yeah.
like, pero ¿por
La
qué?
sandía.
La sandía se
antes
pasa.
de
Oh, la
dormir.
sandía que estaba comiendo el chamoy con la sandía en la noche y
pero eso de
está
la
muy
sandía,
frío. Pero pues
Sí,
ahí saca
es
la
que-
basura en pleno winter y no está muy frío, ¿verdad? O sea,
pero
Y
dice que
sí,
porque tienes el pinche estómago bien caliente, ¿no? Del alcohol. So again, lo estás mezclando.
güey, pero si no estoy tomando alcohol en la... Oh, we're talking about sandía, we're talking about meds.
Sandía.
Pero
que
pues
dice que
si
no
no estoy
tomes
tomando
sandía,
alcohol y me la como en la noche, it's still a bad thing, ¿no?
Ya ni sé, dude. I don't know if these are things que they made up and aquí estamos como pendejetes fucking believing, pero anyway, at the end of the day, sometimes we do them, no? Like we try not to. This
Sí.
case, like you were like, oh, I don't know if I should mix it or not. Like what I'm doing right now. Like I'm not gonna drink medicine because I'm already drinking type of thing.
Mhm.
Pero yeah, what do you think, Tank? You're so interested on
Pues,
when you Google.
Aquí el tío Google dice many people taking antibiotics already experience stomach or digestive side effects, and drinking alcohol on these medications can increase feeling of nausea.
Ah, pues
Pero ya
Yeah.
con unas
Una
6
mareadita,
chelitas también
pues.
estás mareado, güey.
Sí,
¿O no?
está bien
No, pues,
nauseous,
si, te
¿no?
da, si te da un poquito de chorro, pues hay unas cuantas libritas menos.
Shit. Va, muchachos. But let's get into our main topic, no? Go ahead, Tank. Start it off.
Pues bad parenting, dude. Like,
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Flat out, no?
sí, güey, pues ya, straight to it, dude. No pinche
well,
foreplay.
that's it. Is it bad parenting or strict parenting?
There you go, strict
Like,
parenting, strict parenting.
yeah, like defining what is strict
Yeah.
to you, right? Like we all had different types of upbringings and different, experiences. Like what is too strict? Where do you draw the line?
Uh,
So, uh-huh.
go ahead.
Mhm.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna ask you guys to kind of like I was gonna answer with the question, but were your parents ever strict, and if so, what was the most strict thing like they prohibited you guys from doing?
I feel like my mom was strict. Prior to the when my parents were still together. Um, my mom was always like the strict one as far as like like no nos dejaba salir as much, no nos dejaba like she wouldn't let us sleep over like friends' house and stuff like that. Um, but yeah, de más grande, like um, I guess she gave her reasonings, and like the whole like not sleeping over people's houses was like, oh, it's because pues no sabes, like who's there as far as like older brothers, tios, whatever the case may be. And I guess she never wanted to put us in that situation. Um, y pues que no nos dejaba salir. Like, I mean, we grew up in a pretty fucked up neighborhood, so I guess she was trying to shelter us as much as she could, as far as like keeping us away from like being out in the street and getting like enticed by like like gangs y todo eso, and like just that lifestyle que se vivía around that area.
Yeah,
So like I could see why she was strict,
but in esos tiempos, you're like, ¿por qué? Like you.
yeah, in esos tiempos I was like, oh, what the fuck? I'm just trying
Yeah.
to go out and play, like I'm not, like thinking about it. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like looking back, you're like, yeah, like a veces we'd be just out in the park playing y de repente like se juntaban people that were, like in gangs and wearing
Yeah.
like that. Y pues they would kind of try to start I guess building in a way a relationship with you to like entice you to like
Mhm.
like, oh, like you should join this and that, y te empezaron a decir y cosas así. So it's like, yeah, like,
You get it.
yeah, I get it.
Dude, and it's crazy porque también obviamente, bueno, I get, your mom trying to do all that stuff, and with all good reason. I mean, she knew the neighborhood que había, pero sí, güey, de uno de niño, güey, le vale madre, güey. Ya, huevo,
Yeah,
quiere salir porque es a huevo,
yeah,
So it's
Más
just,
que nada porque ves the other kids that are out, right? And it's like
yeah,
they're out there, like tú
yeah.
quieres también estar allá.
Y hasta para decirle, mira, they're safe, ¿no? Para, like, look, they're doing okay type of thing. Like, I'll be okay too.
yeah. Están jugando fútbol y throwing up gang signs, ¿no? Like,
Sí. pero
bien
I get
sanamente,
her.
dude, sanamente.
They got their guns on lock. It's safe.
Y sí,
Definitely understand it though. Romero, anything that your mom that you think would be strict that she would do?
Nah, I don't think my parents were too strict on a lot of things. At least I didn't feel like they were. Ahora sí que even when the years that growing up in Mexico, like I would be out, like llegaba a la escuela and like hacíamos tarea or like comíamos, hacíamos tarea, and then like I would go outside, and I knew my time to go back inside the house was 8 o'clock. Like whatever we would play on the streets, we would go into like somebody's houses and watch Power Rangers or whatever the fuck it was. Y aquí pues casi igual, pero the thing maybe that was different is que when I like growing up, I never really attended the school that was supposed to be like the school within my district. Like I
Mhm.
always used somebody else's address. So even the friends that I made at school weren't the same ones, on my block.
Yeah,
Okay.
So yo creo también eso tenía like no tenía mucho que ver, pero era like
you
a
couldn't hang
veces
out
like
with
yo
them
no le
type of
daba
thing.
mucho importancia al salir o no salir y
Yeah,
porque si saliera para eso, dude, para jugar like to play soccer. Like basically that's what it was.
Yeah.
De vez en cuando que like they'll be playing cops and robbers or shit like that. But even then, yeah, like my parents weren't so strict. I guess subconsciously I was also in a way like feeling responsible because I knew I had to, like, there were certain hours of the day que tenía que cuidar a my brother, my sister, and all that. So, pero ahora lo veo, por ejemplo, like, I don't know, I think once, or a couple times, like, oh, like for New Year's, I want to go to a friend's house, or Thanksgiving. I think one time, like, we had spent a couple like days together, like in each other's houses with Jonathan, and then it's like, oh, it was Thanksgiving. He's like, oh, well, we wanted to fucking keep playing or whatever it was. Y le preguntamos a mamá, like, hey, like, can I go? He's like, no, what the hell are you thinking? It's a holiday. Like,
Yeah.
you don't go to other people's houses on holidays.
Yeah.
Y then I saw it with my siblings growing up, and it's like they pretty much got to do whatever the fuck they wanted to do. Like Mother's Day, like, yeah, llega al otro día, or like, um, like, so for me, like, I know my mom was really like strict on like holidays or special days or whatever, and with my siblings, like, no, there were um no boundaries there for them.
Yeah.
I think I could agree with you on a lot of stuff like that because I know like I'm the youngest out of three on my mom's side, and I know like my brother and sister. Well, my mom was really strict with them, with
Mhm.
everything, with anything. Like they couldn't go out, they couldn't do this, couldn't do that. But with me, she was very chill about it. She was super chill about it. She was, they let me. She let me go out as much as she could. Even like when we used to live in 26th Street, we knew it was a bad neighborhood, and she told me about it. But even then, like I would go out and play. I had a little backyard. I would play in the backyard and all that stuff. So, um, yeah, I don't think she was that strict with me on a lot of stuff too. So
And it was like, I think for all of us, at some point it applied, right? Like the street light rule, like the street lights were
Yeah.
on, like that was time to go back inside.
hmm
Yeah, I think once we moved to Mexico, because a nosotros fue the opposite, dude. Like, we moved to Mexico. I was like 9 years old. Yeah, I
Mhm.
feel like that's when, como que like ya se sintió más safer. Like oh, okay, like I feel good that at least at that time no había like anything going on in el pueblo and stuff like that. So yeah, it was more of like, oh well, like we have a rehearsal at school for a play, we have soccer practice y todo eso. Y yeah, we were able to go out, like no, well, I guess just questions asked as far as like, oh, well, on the run, like things like that. But yeah, like it was definitely like, okay, like cuando like the lights turn on, like and it's getting dark, it's time for you to come home and shit. Y
Yeah. Pero
y
now,
pues
like, for
también,
example, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, we're like now, like when we think about like nowadays, right? Like, at least for me, like I don't know con Itzel, like my daughter, like oldest, she's 7, and I know that I was out on the street playing at like the age of 6,
Yeah.
or 7. Like, I don't see her like go like saying I'm gonna go and play on the street and shit like that. It's like, things have changed. I'm sure with Chiquis, she's older now, pero like, would she go out and like, I mean, like, is that a thing? Like, are there kids her age in your block where she gets to you know say like, oh, I want to go outside and play? Like, is that even a thing now? And then when it is a thing, like, are we stricter now because we don't trust people in general now, I guess?
Yeah, when she was younger, like se llevaba mucho with our front neighbors. Like they have a daughter like exactly her age, and I think they actually went to the
School
same
together?
class. Yeah, up to
Nice.
like a certain, I think like fifth grade or something like that. Siempre les tocaba like the same classes together. So se llevaba bien, and she would like the little girl would come, and they would play in our front yard, or Chiquis would like cross the street, or like we would help her cross the street, and like she would like play in their yard and stuff like that. Pero ya después from a certain time ya para acá, like yeah,
Hmm.
dude, like así que dijeras que sale y eso, like, and I've told her, I was like, oh, like, and just reminiscing of like when I was her age, like como dices, like um from like sixth grade and on, it was like caminar de aquí a pinche Fort City with my friends, and like
Yeah.
just hanging out and like going to their houses and stuff like that. Y like pues le digo, I was like, like if you ever want to go to a friend's house, or if you ever want to meet up at like in this case Chicago Ridge, I was like, let me know, y pues I'll drive you there, whatever, I'll pick you up. But it's kind of like, oh, like no, I'm good. And I think that ahorita, like at least right now in high school, tiene que ver también eso de que she's going out of her district. So
Mhm.
like la escuela le queda lejitos and all her friends live in different
Near
areas.
the school.
So yeah, and even like recently she just learned how to like take the bus to school and stuff like that, like public transportation. Pero yeah, like así como que like como éramos nosotros de que like we'd be out and about, like nada que ver, dude.
Y también tiene mucho que ver. I want to think también. I mean, we're all guys here talking, and it's like whenever, and then Chiqui's she's your niece, but basically you raised her right along with Miguel, and Johnny Boy también tiene niñas. I have two daughters, and my youngest is a boy. But when I think about like sleepovers, right? Like I don't know how your mom was about sleepovers, but my mom was not. Like I didn't have like a lot of sleepovers, but like mainly like con Johnny Boy and I will like fucking like spend the night playing Blitz or whatever, and be Friday night, and it's like, oh, we'll be playing y ya nos quedamos en casa de uno. Um, and my mom never had an issue. Um, and there were a couple other friends that I will sometimes like end up doing sleepovers and shit like that. Which like you think back on it, and that shit was so fun, like just eating junk food and and playing video games. But
Yeah.
if he said it was like I want to have a sleepover, I was like, shit, like I don't know if I will feel too comfortable with that shit.
Yeah. With sleepovers, igual, like I
Sleepover in
think,
somebody else's house, right? Like
right,
for me, I'm
right.
like, pues trae tus amigas, or not. Now that's the other thing too, right? We're in a different generation. It's like, what if she's like, there's friends that are boys, like I don't think sleepovers are still okay in my book like that, but like
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know, is
like
that a thing that now people have to think about, right? Like,
yeah. And I see with, for example, one of my cousins. He's well now he turned 19, I think. But when
mhm,
he was like growing up, like my aunt and my uncle were like a little bit more lenient with him, and
mhm,
he would have sleepovers where like you'll be like guys and girls sleeping over, the house. Yeah, like se me hacía like a little weird because it was like, at least for me growing up, like a sleepover was like, all right, like it's gonna be me and my guy friends, like,
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
como dices, we're just gonna fucking not even sleep, dude. Just like play video games all night, eat fucking like junk food, and like say stupid shit, and that
yeah,
was the sleepover. But yeah, even that, como digo, like um, when my parents were together, my mom wasn't a fan of it, and like no nos dejaba, like sleeping over. Pero pues ya cuando se separaron, like yeah, like just not, at this case we would ask my dad, like
mhm,
and since we always had friends over, and it was always the same people, like venían, like he already knew them, so it's like, oh, like could I go sleep over so and so's house? Like, oh yeah, that's fine. Yes, there, and like sometimes they would come sleep over here too. Um,
Did
y-
you ever go through that, like, oh, I'm gonna sleep at so and so's house, and then you weren't really doing that?
uh, not really, dude. Like the closest we got was, uh, for example, like we would go sleep over at someone's house, and then we would just go out to like a party, por decir,
Uh-huh.
and like, pero like siempre regresábamos, and like I was like, oh well, like I'm not gonna go home, like I'm just gonna sleep
Yeah.
over this person's house or whatever. Pero like, it wasn't like, como te dijera, like if I said I was gonna sleep over there, that's where I was gonna sleep over, regardless of like what we did that day or like
Mhm.
en la noche. Like I was gonna come back and like sleep over there, Like it wasn't like I'm gonna sleep over here y me pasaba la noche somewhere else, like the whole night.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I do want to say though, like I remember I had a friend, and I probably only slept over like his house like twice or three times, but Every time I would sleep over, like he had two sisters, and like I would like let him know, like, oh, hey, is it cool, or like he'll like ask me, like, is it cool if you want
Mhm.
to sleep over in this day, whatever. And when the day came, like Sue's parents, como que le decían a sus sisters to go sleep over at their friend's house, like de su
Oh,
amiga.
so they won't be at the
Yeah,
house.
so they wouldn't be at the house when I was there.
Hmm.
And like it made me feel some type of way because I was like, I'm not gonna fucking do anything, but I get it, like
Yeah.
you don't,
Hmm.
like I said, like you don't want to put them in that situation or whatever. So yeah.
But
Dude, and
that brings that
mhm.
whole thing, right? Like I don't even know if I would be comfortable. So if Ivan wants to have a sleepover, like would I send my daughters away? I wouldn't even feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that either. And I think I don't know if you talked about it a little bit when I was gone, but we had sleepovers like all the fucking time, dude. Like,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
like all the time. Like it was if it wasn't like every
Nomás
week.
llegaba el viernes, and whether you were like wherever we would start playing, like we'll start playing, like we'll start off with soccer, then move into video games, and then
Mhm.
yeah, that it was like,
Go back to
well,
soccer or
you ask my mom, or
see,
I ask your mom, like.
yeah. And then yeah, de ahí, dude, it was like that. And even after, even in high school, because we were in elementary school, but even in high school, and when I moved out to Rockford, like he was still not as often, obviously, because by then he already like we had jobs and we had this or lo que sea, pero he would still go over and spend that weekend, in this case, a weekend out there in Rockford,
Mm,
um, which is again it's 2 hours away from Chicago, so significant amount. But yeah, yeah, it was one of those who I think I mean, I don't know. I thought it was pretty fun.
But well, you in this case, so the question was right, like, would you feel comfortable? I don't know. Does Tina do sleepovers?
She does as far as like with their cousin.
Mm-hmm.
So with my cuñada, like she'll spend the night out there or whatever. Or every now and then she'll spend the night here. Pero she hasn't gotten to the point where it's like, oh, well, my friend wants me to spend the night. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, I honestly, I don't want to say that I have a problem with it, but I know, like, I feel like my girl would be like, no, like you can't spend the night, like you're too young type of thing. I honestly think that in case that she did say yes, she would be responsible enough to be like, okay, like I'm gonna. I mean, I have manners. I know how to eat. I know how to say please and thank you. Like she would, in my eyes, she would be okay. Um, but I still feel like my girl would be like, no, you're too young for this, so you can't do it.
Yeah, like I think yeah, for me it's one of those like I'd rather you invite your friends here type
Right?
of thing,
Okay. Yeah. Same thing.
right?
Same thing.
Just again, it's one of those like I think about like how parents would make decisions back in the day, right? It's like, well, in ese caso que Tank explained, is like you go sleep over your friends, and then so and so you can bring your friends here or whatnot. But just as far as like how do you get to trust the other parents too, right?
yeah.
Like getting to know the parents and all that, like
Yeah.
it's kind of hard. I don't know. I think I will struggle with that.
Um, I guess this is a question where somebody that could answer for us would be in this case our parents, right? Would be like, well, why did you let me sleep over? I do believe in a couple things. Like for example, Tina has two types of friends. One of the friends that, for example, they'll go to choir and they'll go to you know crochet class or like super chill. And then you have the other ones like, oh, well, after school we're gonna go chill over there, like at the playground. And
Hmm.
it's like, and she asked one time, it's like, oh, can I go? She was like, wait, you're not gonna go to choir, just or crochet? I forgot what it was. And then she's like, no, my friends are going over there. I was like, who's going? And they're like, oh, so and so and so and so. So we know that they're a little bit more on the wild side, quote unquote, like we're un poquito
Hmm.
más traviesas, comparado con las otras muchachas, where they're un poquito más centradas. They're just a little bit more strict with what they get to do outside of school. Even though it was a school activity, like even that I know they're pretty strict with. So, but yeah, how do you trust a parent? Oh shit, I don't know. That's a good
Yeah.
question.
And I
And
think
then
también
mhm.
it has to be or I would like to think that as fucked up as it may sound, like it had to do with gender, as far as like como we're
Yeah,
boys,
a
like
little bit.
you don't really think about it as much as like with a girl you're like, oh damn, like pues, quién son los papás, you know, like, I don't know them, like, que mañas tienen, you know, shit like that. So I'm pretty sure it has a lot to do with it también.
What about your sister, Romero? Like, did she get to spend the night at her friend's house? You saying,
She did. Like she would. Um, you know, and I guess también like I remember like they were like my parents like became close with the other parents. So they had some sort of relationship um amongst parents enough to I guess to trust the kids to sleep over each other's houses. Um,
yeah,
and even then, dude, like I think about it, right? So when we used to live like over there by Scottsdale, 82nd, and I don't know Kilpatrick or one of the K's, um, and we moved out to Romeoville.
hmm
Now across the street, my brother, and my sister, they also had friends, and it was also a boy and a girl, pretty much like same age as Itodo.
hmm
Their parents were okay with us pick like to me it was like I at that age, like I would guess I was what senior year of high school. Like I remember, like okay, we'll go pick up the kids. They're gonna come and sleep over here. Like even though like they knew my parents like very little, and we were neighbors for many years or whatnot. Still, it's like you're allowing your kids to go to this other person's house that's like an hour away, and at that point they were what like 7, 6 years old.
hmm
Like that to me is like it's right on the age where Itzel is at right now. And it's like si lo pensaría que se fuera a dormir a casa de un neighbor's house, right? Like I would not even think about the possibilities of her sleeping over an hour away.
A little backstory to that with Itzel. She spent the night with us one time at the hotel. You remember, Romero?
Oh yeah, yeah. That was the
Yeah,
first time that she slept outside of like my parents.
yeah. You
Yeah,
guys,
yeah.
yeah. She was just very excited that I guess we had a hotel room, and she just wanted to go spend the night. And it was super chill. I mean, nothing really big. We got there, and obviously I think we were already tired. She wanted to shower, so she showered, and then got some PJs on, and then she already knew it was time for bed. So it wasn't even like
Hmm.
I feel like she didn't behave. I don't want to say it in a bad way because I don't know like that, but she didn't behave in a in a weird way, like because it's been her first time. So she was
Yeah.
very chill. She spent obviously the night with the girls and everything, and then we get up the next day. And I think you guys, or I think Vanya picked them up. It was something like that where
No,
Vanya
we
picked
we
them up.
guys we ended up meeting up for like going to breakfast or something.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah. I get you. I get you. It's a little bit. It's just one of those. But
Yeah, but this I mean the for me is the difference, right? Of like somebody that I know versus
right,
a
a
friend's
neighbor,
house.
a neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly what you were
Um
saying. Yeah. What about now, though?
now
Uh-huh.
what about now?
Yeah. What about now? Like, is there anything that you're strict to your kids about
Oh,
that they're like?
ahorita at their age, their ass like just fucking like after like all the travesuras that they do. Like I don't think there's like a strict thing. But for example, with Itel, who's the oldest, is like if there's bad behavior or like like at school they'll let us know like she did something or whatnot. Like I think the consequences are automatically right, like screen time, whether that's TV, tablets.
That's
Um,
the new thing. The new thing.
Yeah.
yeah, like pues ahora sí que con eso that becomes kind of like the punishment, right? Like where before it was like
Go
te
to your
decían go to
room.
your room,
You're
you're not gonna have dinner.
not gonna go
Now
Yeah.
out
it's
and shit.
See.
yeah, it's like that's the different thing. Like is like the TV gets taken away or the tablet gets taken away. Um, porque pues también like they're growing up in an era where like going out is not really a thing. Like I think
Yeah.
ahorita que we moved into this neighborhood, like se me hacía raro. There's a couple teenage kids down the street.
Hmm.
I don't know if they're brothers, I don't know if they're friends, and they come over to each other's houses or whatever. But cuando empiezan los días calentillos, like de repente I would see them like on the street, like how we used to be on the street and just like throwing a football around
Yeah.
or playing basketball in somebody's driveway, which is like shit. I haven't seen that in years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But maybe in that sense, dude. My bad, Tank. Maybe in that sense, también
No.
con ellos, they're trying to control that screen time. because that's a normal thing nowadays. No, you guys could agree with that. Like tablets are around, just technology
Yeah.
itself has evolved in so many ways that um, obviously, yeah, they have stuff that we never had when we were younger. So all we want to do is be outside. But now, in this case, in their era, their time, it's like they have a lot of screen time, where there's, Disney Plus and streaming services to tablets and phones. Um, but maybe, like in this case, with the people, your neighbors or whoever in the block, maybe that's what they're doing, because I feel also like in order for me to apply that to them, or in this case to like Tina and Camila, it's like I have to be willing to go out too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I have to be willing to be
Yeah.
like, okay, guys, let's go for a walk, or
Yeah.
and get your scooter and let's go. Like I have to initiate that too, because honestly, out of them, it does not come out. It's written. Well, Camila nowadays she wants to go on a walk every day, but it's just I
Mm-hmm.
feel like it's a face that she has right now. But eventually, what she wants to do is like she wants to watch TV, and then she wants to watch her tablet. Now she has that like maña que tiene que it's like, oh, I'm gonna watch YouTube in the TV. Oh, but I have my tablet as well. So she's watching like two videos at the
Oh,
same
both
time, or
things.
she's
Yeah.
or she's playing
Yeah.
Roblox in one and watching video in the other. So it's like, girl, no, what do you want to do? You want to watch this or you want to watch that? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I would admit though, with when it comes to like with Tina, I don't want to call her like an experiment child, because that's really not what it was, what she is. But we did test a lot on her, in the sense that, okay, well, you're doing bad. Okay, well, you had 2 hours, now you have an hour and a half, and it was like that
Mm-hmm.
till probably recently, maybe 2 years ago, where constantly, like she would not do something, and it was like, and just like I know she was tired of hearing my ass bitch about you didn't take out the trash, or you didn't wash the dishes, or you didn't do this. That's like, I'm tired as well. So it comes to a point now, like for example, today, earlier before we started, um, her thing is to set up the table when we eat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling my girls, like, she hasn't set up the table in a while, and I tell her, hey, it's good to set up the table, because you just contribute to the house. And I was like, I'm gonna call her just to see how she's doing, and let's see if she notices that we're about to eat. Sure enough, if she didn't, so I was just again explaining to her, like, hey, come on, like, get it together, like, you need to contribute, like, we're gonna eat, set up the table, it's not that hard, it takes her a minute. Right now she has her phone, so she's like all involved in her phone. But before it was like, you didn't do it, you didn't set up the table, so now it's gonna be an hour off. So now you only get an hour a day. And like now I look at
Mm-hmm.
Camila, she's gonna be 6. She doesn't have chores, not yet, but eventually we're gonna do that. But she has a lot of free time, a lot of free stuff, freebies, a lot of freebies compared to like what Tina did. She didn't have, sorry. So um, with
And
Tina, I guess
that's due to her being the youngest, just like you were saying that your upbringing was different from your
my siblings.
others.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to blame it on that, but I guess yeah, it kind of has to do with it as well. Again, I don't. It sounds better color like the test child, ¿qué dije? The test child or something. Pero yeah, we did a lot of try. I did a lot of trial and error. Like my girl, she's more of a lovey-dovey. Don't do this, get it together. But my girl
Yeah,
also,
but
when
I mean,
she
but I think yeah, you do learn over time, right? With kids, right? Like
it sucks,
nobody
yeah.
has that like perfect playbook, so you gotta do that. You gotta try and see what works. And también like the other thing is that not all kids are the same.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
No, yeah, but I agree. Like in my case, for example, I'm sure I got away with more stuff than Miguel did, and then Omar got away with more stuff than we did.
Right.
But como dices, like I think it does sound bad, like the whole like the test child, but that's really what
Kind of what it
at
is.
least, yeah, like the oldest. I feel like that's what it is because you're like as a parent, you're learning, so it's like yeah, when the second one comes around, you're like ya sabes más o menos un poquito más, and then when the third one comes around, it's like yeah, like
I'm too tired. Do whatever you want.
you see.
Yeah, because
So yeah.
one of the things that I battled a lot with when Tina was young was for her either to say hi to people, which I know it's awkward as a kid. You're like, well, I don't even know this person,
Mhm.
But it was
Yeah.
one of those things where lead by example, type
Mhm.
of thing where I would say hi to everybody, and it's like just come behind me and say hi.
But I
You
think
know,
that's something también que it's kind of passed down, right? Like I'm assuming your mom kind of was the same way.
honestly, no.
No. Mm.
Honestly, well, she obviously she was like obviously she taught me not to be rude, and if I'm there,
Mm-hmm.
when it's not this type of thing. But the way that I see my girls, side of the family is that they say hi de mano, like a firm
A
handshake,
handshake.
or de un beso.
Hmm.
Um, and I honestly got it from her. I just think it's a
Hmm.
good trait, a good moral to have. To no matter where you're at, you'll stand down and be like, "Hey, hi." And it's like, "Well, I don't know you, but hey, good, just looks good, especially on a kid." So I struggled a lot with that. Now she's just like nothing. She's just free about it.
Hmm.
But now again, Camila's in that stage where it's like, Camila, did you say hi to her? No, I forgot. It's like, oh my god. So here we are again, trying to remind and back to the same cycle, all over again. But I don't think as far as like being strict, I guess with my kids, just I think they're pretty chill, dude. I don't really think they're. I don't know. Maybe when they're older, like I think about like when Tina gets older, she's gonna want to drink. But say if she's
Mm.
17, 18, and she's gonna want to drink, like would I want her to do it in front of me, or would I act? I mean,
Right, because
not,
you get those sayings, right? Or parents that were like, "Oh, si vas a tomar, prefiero que tomes aquí en vez de que tomes allá."
you're out and
Or
about. Yeah.
Yeah.
mhm.
How do you guys feel about that?
Like for example, for my mom, like she did kind of like slowly, like, oh, pues una cerveza, like, or it started off with like unos traguitos, just like
Hmm.
a sip of her beer or whatever. Um, and her thing was that my grandpa like was like that with her, like as far as like he was like, oh, like I want to show you how to drink and like teach you how to drink. That way, whenever you go out, like the guys don't try to get you drunk and like try to take advantage of you.
Mhm.
Yeah, you can
So
handle
it's like,
yourself.
yeah, you could handle yourself, you could handle your liquor, and you could handle, like being in this case tipsy or whatever. Yes, so that's how he brought up my mom. And like for her it was just like, oh well, like they were like, it was like, it started off not even beer, I think it was like wine coolers at the time and shit. And it
Yeah,
was like, like
I used to buy that Romero. ¿Te acuerdas? The mics. My mom used to buy
The
us the mics.
Mike
the
Hart lemonade,
Yeah.
whatever those were. Yeah.
yes, and it was like, oh, like taking little sips and then like little sips of beer, yeah, see. And yeah, like by the time we were a certain age, it was like, all right, well, you could have one beer. You like kind of like start building some tolerance.
Yeah.
um as far as Chiquis, I don't know, like she sorta did the same with her, as far as like she'll like put a little cup and like would give her a little bit of beer, but I don't think it was as much as like for how she was with us. So like I don't know, dude.
It is tricky, right? Like, so I think the and I don't even want to say it's right or it's okay, because everybody decides. But yeah, like I think letting them know what beer tastes like, or if they're curious, right? Like, I don't want to be the one imposing, like, ahora te sientas conmigo y vamos a tomarnos una cerveza. Like,
Right,
nothing
right.
like that. But if they're curious, like, I want to be able to build that relationship for them, any of my kids, to be like, I would like to try it. Then okay, well, let's try it here, and then go about it that way. Pero así para que to get to the point of like, let's say we're at a holiday party, Christmas, New Year's, and they're 13 years old and freely going to the cooler and grabbing beer or
Right.
a
Yeah.
shot. También, o sea, se ve mal, and I don't think it's right. Like,
Yeah.
todo su tiempo, right? Like, pero I think I would have that flexibility of being like, okay, you want to try it, let's try it. Like, and go about it that way. But it is a fine line, right? Because you don't want to, porque quieras o no, like, como chamaco, right? Le das una beer or whatever, and then you go the next day, just like, oh yeah, I drank a beer, and
Yeah.
then you become kind of like that parent, or even the kid is like becomes a bad influence because they talked about they had a beer already at the age of 14 or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. But I feel like at the same time you don't want to start off any like sort of addiction to it at a young
Yeah.
age. Yeah.
Do you think that parents are gonna struggle with, and I don't even know if it's a struggle or whatever, but like just the way we look at alcohol today, by the
With weed.
time, yeah, by the time kids are older, like in a few years, because weed is so common. I have you gotten those ads? I'm pretty sure it's YouTube, like in between videos, like ves que te llegan el ad, and it's about It's like it looks like a Hispanic couple, dude. Like no joke.
Yeah.
Hispanic couple going over to apologize to a black lady's house because their kid is like, oh, you're like, I'm so sorry, blah blah. And they're like, well, you have to be responsible, right? You cannot have your kid find your weed and bring it over to the house.
Yeah. Like I literally just got it for the first time. I think the other
I think
day.
they're
Like
saying it. They're calling it like I don't even know. They're labeling it as something
yeah,
cannabis intoxication or something is becoming more
yeah.
popular in Illinois or something like that.
I think it's
It was like
como te
lock up
dijera,
the edibles. I think that's the whole thing.
easy way. Like yeah, I think especially now that it became legalized, for example, like in Chicago, and like
Hmm.
in different cities. I think that is sí de por sí, like there's like me está diciendo mi primo, like he's el primo from Mexico.
Hmm.
Like he's been living here, yeah, with us for a while, and he like tells us like, dude, he's like, I'm surprised that like
Oh, el
me,
primo, el
Miguel, and
hermano del dentista from episode
y sí, por si quieren
something
ir al
something.
pasado, like, yeah, ¿cómo se llama? And he tells us, he's like, dude, like, I'm surprised you guys aren't like big weed smokers, because he's like from a certain age and down, he's like,
Hmm.
all my coworkers are like huge into like smoking weed, and that's all they do, and like they always smell like weed and stuff like that. So yeah, dude, like the por si, like you already see it now. I'm pretty sure like in the future it's gonna be um pues even more, like como si fuera
Yeah,
like
I mean, it's reality. You face it because it's in front of you, and the ease of access to all these things, right? Like as kids, and I want to say as kids, right? Because the legal age to drink in the US is 21. At
yeah,
the age of 18 or 19, um, I'm not gonna expose the business, but there was certain liquor stores that we would go to buy beer because
yeah,
we knew they were not gonna ID us,
yeah.
right? So I don't know if I told the story. So once I was working at White Hen. You remember White Hen?
Algo
White
así.
Hen Pantry. Um,
Okay, yeah,
so it was during high school. So I was working. I didn't even know that you had to be over 21 to scan the beer to sell it. Like it was illegal.
yeah,
But I was like on my like I want to say like training week or whatever, and I was like me tenían haciendo varias cosas, and like that day I had to take care of the caja, and it's like okay, well, like just this is how you do it, and now if you go and manager went somewhere else, somebody came in to buy beer, I scanned it and I charged him for it, but then he saw it from like far away. He came to me like fucking scolded my ass like you cannot be selling this, and I was like, well, I'm sorry, I didn't know. It's like because
yeah,
apparently like the well, first of all, if the business does not card you, or they identify that it's an underage person selling the liquor, um, they get like some hefty ass fines and like no sé qué tanto pedo. But I didn't even know like you couldn't do that, right? Then after that, con razón, when you go to the store, Jewel or whatever other grocery store can
yeah,
open, and then you get that under 21 person. It's like fuck. Now you gotta wait for somebody else to come and scan it. Y todo ese pedo. So, but I do think that ahora sí que managing and dealing with weed, whether that's edibles or smokes, like it's something that we're gonna have to deal with just the way we deal with liquor.
Yeah.
yeah,
And just to switch it up a little bit, real quick scenario, right? Because I think about as kids grow older, Chiquis is in high school. I Yes, I would cut classes here and there, whatever. But when I was like when they got on me about doing that, right? Like school's like, okay, this motherfucker cuts this, that, and the other. I stopped for a bit. And the day that I decided to cut, I'll be like, hey mom, I'm gonna cut today. I'm not
Really?
gonna go to this class. Yeah, like there'll be days that I like, depending on what it was. And I even remember it was for my birthday one time. I told him, like, I'm not gonna go to these last 3 classes. We're gonna go
oh
and do
shit,
something else. And mom was like, okay, cool. My dad was on board too.
No shit. Okay.
I mean, my dad, he tends to forget a lot of things, but so he calls me like towards the end of the day of the school, like he calls me, he's like, "Where are you at?" I'm like, "Oh, pues te dije que iba a salir con so and I was gonna do this, that, and pues me hablaron de la escuela que no fuiste a estas clases otra
Oh
vez y que
my
la
god.
chingada." And he's like, "Oh no, he didn't give me that lecture. He just told me like, well, make your way home now."
Mhm.
And yeah, I'll save that part for late night special that we do. But point being is like, yeah, get home now. So I get home and I thought it was about another thing, and I was like, fuck, like I got caught, whatever. And I get home and he's scolding me for missing classes. And he's
The
like,
class that you told
and
them that you're gonna
the
miss.
class that I told him that I'm
Yeah.
like, we
Yeah.
had this conversation yesterday, and I gave you a heads up, and you guys were okay with it because it was my birthday or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, my dad was like, I don't remember none of this shit. You keep doing this, blah, blah, blah. And my mom, like, como que de repente le cayó el 20. She's like, no, espérate, creo que sí nos dijo. And it was one of those. But yeah, like, how would you deal with cutting classes and shit? I don't know how your parents deal with it, but I know we all did it.
Yeah, I did a little bit. Yeah. Go ahead, Tank.
I mean,
A little bit.
some of your teachers didn't even know your name, but yeah.
They thought I was Christian Romero, no?
You see it?
What about you, Tank? What would you do with that?
I would try to hide it as much as I could. Like I definitely didn't like I wasn't open about it, like as far as like, oh, I'm gonna cut this class or whatever. I just like did it and I would just stay quiet. And eventually it was like once report card pickup would come up, like I remember one time, dude, like my advisory teacher like told my dad, I was like, oh, does your son know where the school is located? And
What
at
the
first,
fuck?
like my dad didn't understand it, and he was laughing. He's like, "Oh, he's like, no, like I'm serious." He ya le enseñó like the cuts and all that, and I was like, "Fuck, dude."
You got
So
caught?
like, yeah, I got caught up. Like, eventually, we always got caught up because of like report card pickup.
Yeah.
Pero yeah, like I never mentioned it. It was just always a surprise. Luckily for us, like Chiquis has not, like she's not like a cutter y todo eso. Like as far as like she don't cut class.
As far as you know, van a decir.
No, like so we checked.
I
like,
also think it's harder to cut school nowadays.
Is it?
Right.
I don't know, but I know.
And I was gonna say like yeah, ves que now they have the parent portals y todo eso, like donde
Wow.
estás,
Yeah.
you're like logging in and like seeing all that. So like not a lot comes to surprise anymore. Like if you're on it, like it doesn't come as a surprise anymore. You're like already seeing, and you're able to like kind of like rectify, like as it's happening. But she's been late to a few classes, like at the beginning of the day. Pero as far as like así que dijeras, it's only been like a handful of times. It's not like algo que hace
Bogan was
seguido.
bogus on those lates, dude. Like they were overly populated. You could hardly maneuver your way through the hallways, and they were still getting
Sí, dude. Were you guys still going there cuando hacían? Yeah, los house
the
sweeps.
sweeps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck,
dude.
dude. I always used to get caught in those, dude. They were so random, and
Dude, I
always
remember
getting
like
caught in those, dude.
I was in like my, ¿cómo se llama? My locker. Nada más empezaba a escuchar, like the countdown empezaba like, like 15, 14. I was like, fuck, dude, I'm not going to make it. And I remember one time, dude, like I made it and todavía faltaban like 5 seconds. And the teacher, no, like she didn't like me. And like she was at the door, dude, like the little window
Teacher
looking.
didn't like me. That's
Yeah, dude.
that's a classic right there, dude.
What do you see,
Y
dude?
sí, güey. O sea, yo no hice nada, pero she just didn't like me, ¿no?
Sí. No te dejó entrar, ¿no? Nada más.
Sí, güey. Yes, and like I remember she was looking through the window, and I was like, oh, like like open the door, they're gonna sweep. And
You're over here going like 5, 4.
Y sí, güey. And like she didn't open the door.
She
dude,
was the
like,
one doing it, dude.
Y sí,
On the
güey.
other
Like,
side of the fucking door.
y pues yeah, she was like, no, like go to like the auditorium. I was like, no, like I still have time. She's like, no, go to the auditorium. Que no sé qué. And I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, like I turned around, and as I was walking away, like yeah, like llegó a 0 or whatever, and like llegó some other student, y le abrió la puerta y se metió el student, y luego la cerró otra vez.
Shit.
And I was
Damn.
like, what the fuck, dude? Pero pues I
Damn.
was like, whatever, dude. Like I'm just gonna go to the auditorium and chill. Like,
I'll
yeah.
come back Saturday for Saturday detention, no?
You
Sí,
see,
güey.
dude.
Dude, funny story que ya les había contado when Giovanni el Apache was on. But I'm saying it for
Ah,
the people that don't want to go back to episode 13.
episode.
You see it.
Well, I had moved to Rockford already, so I was living out there. And then, honestly, this is an honest thing. An honest thing, pero era un chisme, ¿no?
You see it.
They were saying que there was going to be a shootout, like inside the school. So we're
Oh
like, what
shit.
the fuck? I was like, hell no! Like,
And it
I'm
wasn't a
out.
penalty shootout.
No, 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 no.
You
It was like,
see it.
yeah, it was like a gang related type of thing. I was like, yeah, I'm out. Like, I'm gonna get out, lo que sea. And I remember telling Giovanni, I was like, hey, wait, vámonos, cabrón. Like, no mames. I had a car, so I was like, vamos aquí, nos vamos, no sé a dónde. He's like, all right, all right. So we met up, dude. And as I'm walking out the door, my mom's walking in, dude. Like, I was
Oh.
I don't remember this.
So she comes in. ¿A dónde vas? Es que, you know, like I'm trying to explain to her like what's
Instead
gonna
of like,
happen.
"Amá, véngase para acá."
Sí.
Like, no, man.
No, I was like, I was telling her like there's gonna be a shootout. They're telling us to go home. A ver, vente, vámonos para adentro. Deja, wait. Like she wanted to take me to the office, dude. But it wasn't one of those things was where I'm sure I don't remember, but I'm sure there was somebody there that spoke Spanish, right? But it was one of those things. It was like, fuck. Now I gotta translate everything my mom says to them. You know, like,
Yeah.
oh, y por qué, y cómo, and like the way my mom would be like, díselo como te lo dije. Like she would tell me that to translate the way she would say it. And the way she would say it was a little like off, a little mean. Like, you know, so it's like, I don't want to sound like mean or anything, but that's the way she wanted me to say it. ¿Qué quieres decir?
No, que you're talking about que your mom taught you how to be respectful y todo, pero quiere que le digas
Sí, güey.
a la doña de la oficina, no, how she said
Sí.
it.
Y yeah, she's like, yeah, we, you know, we got reports, pero Rockford police is already on top of things, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you see, I wasn't lying to you. Like, that's why I was leaving. Dude, eventually, yeah, once we were done with that, I left. But then we left, and then you see, me llevé todavía al Giovanni. I took him home.
But
And then
why was your mom going to the school? Just randomly?
well, because
or?
I was cutting a lot. I was
Oh,
cutting
so
a
they
lot.
had
She
already-
kept getting, yeah, she was getting notified about me not showing up. So she was gonna come to see like what the fuck's up during that time. I never expected my mom to go, you know, during school hours. Sure enough, dude, I'm walking out. She's walking out. It's like, fuck, ni como, you know, like.
Como she's gonna go to a tenant's office y le van a decir, ¿qué hace aquí, señora? Van a hacer un shooting, ¿no? Like,
See, güey, no, it was one of those things que el PJ Giovanni, like we talk about it still to today, dude. Que that should happen. That's pretty funny. But speaking of that, dijiste que how would I handle it? I don't know, dude. I don't like my girls missing school for no dumb reason, and it's stupid for me to say it, right? Just saying that I'm the one who you would cut, but it's like I don't want them to be like
well,
me.
you live and you learn, right? You figure out what's good and what's bad. So
One time there was I forgot what I was telling them, and I was like, yeah, you shouldn't miss blah 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 and this and that, and then my girl was like, yeah, but when you were younger, you would cut school, and then Tina's like, what? Why are you telling me? And I was like, no, you did not. Dude.
yeah.
Like, she
this
threw
guy
me out
listened to episode 13.
there.
Yeah. Dude,
No.
and like with Chiquis, I mean, that's something like Miguel, like his expectations, like, I don't want F's, you know? And like, my dad would always be like, "Oh, you're always so strict on her. Like you want good grades and this and that." He's like, "I would be happy if you got like D's, you know, because it was like mainly F's and shit." And like you do have that conversation. It's like, all right, like, do you want her to be like, you know, us and shit? You know, like, do you want her getting those grades? Do you want her not having an opportunity of like going to a college y todo eso? It's like, no, like you want better for her. So it's like, yeah, we fucked up or whatever, pero pues we don't want her que haga lo mismo, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I get you on that.
And honestly, that's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. Like, I don't want her to be like me. Like, you know, and we talked about this in episode 14, to be specific. Yeah, I didn't have any chores. I didn't have a lot of stuff to do. I was a mama's boy. Till today, I'm a mama's boy. And my mom would do a lot of stuff for me. So me moving out caused a lot of trouble in my head. Not knowing how to cook, me not knowing how to do this, not knowing how to do that, barely knowing how to do my bed. Like, there was a lot of stuff that I had to learn on my own, which I feel like, okay, like during the time with me living with my parents, I don't blame her. But, you know, I do question her. And I ask her, like, why wouldn't you let me, like, cook? Like, what? I like it. Like, till today, if you give me a recipe and I really like it, I'll sit there and I'll read through instructions and I want to do it.
Shout out to HelloFresh. If you guys ever tried HelloFresh, dude,
never have, dude.
that shit makes you feel like a chef, dude.
Does it really?
I mean, they're not sponsoring us right now, but
If they want
If
to,
they
no.
want to, no, like
They want to, please.
We love tea, no.
Yeah, Vanya is the one that subscribed to it, and sometimes she'll have too much meals, like in the backlog, y le llegan por correo. Dude, like nos ha dado varios. Like Carla has cooked most of them, but I actually like followed those recipes, dude, and they're fucking legit. Like
Pretty fire.
super quick, easy to do, and it's legit. So
it's
for
not
those
Romero
who
con
like
su
to
chef
cook.
hat, no, like in the
And perejila, no, yeah. But yeah, dude, yeah, I wouldn't like for her to do it, but I feel like I know she's eventually going to. You feel me?
Mhm.
Like I feel like she's gonna come. She's young right now. She's going to 7th grade, so she's gonna come to a point where she's in high school, and we're not gonna be there holding her hand or anything. So if she's gonna meet people, they're gonna be like, "Hey, we're going out after whatever period. Like, you want to come by?" She's gonna be tempted to. It's the honest truth. We've been there. Miguel did it to me a lot of times. I didn't want to get out in school, and
He in there to defend himself, dude. He was
he's yeah, but yeah, dude. Like I know it's gonna happen, and when it does, if she gets caught, I guess it's just one of those. I feel like having like a good talk, like, "Hey,
yeah.
I get it. I did it before," type of thing. Like, but it's not the right way to go. Like you're there to learn.
I think that's also a valid point. Like coming from a place of like been there, done that. I can understand where you're coming from. Where our parents never like would not have that point of reference.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But I remember going into high school, not even understanding really what high school was gonna look like. Like I
Yeah.
didn't have like a big family, where I had like so many cousins or whatnot that they would talk to me about their experiences in high school or whatnot. Like I had no reference point. I had to figure that shit out as I went.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you fucked up, like it was on you, and your parents they were not gonna be understanding to that degree of like, oh, I get why you did this, or even when I would like legit, like my freshman year, like I had so many fucking like outrageously number of classes que según I cut. I'm like, yeah, I cut some, but like let's not be excessive here. But I couldn't tell that to my parents. They would not fucking comprehend. It's like, no, aquí dice eso, so fuck it. Like, we don't believe you.
You
Like,
cut,
you're
yeah,
doing that.
Yeah.
yeah.
It
So
was a
but
gift and a curse, I want to say, porque pues, I mean, it was simple to be like, oh no, yeah, like, for example, like I don't know if you remember the wristbands that they would sell for your like the basketball games that you could like
Yeah,
get
that
out
you
of your
can
like
like
last
leave
3
early.
classes. Yeah, it's like they didn't know, like you bought them, but you didn't know that like the teacher had to sign off, and like we would
Mhm.
just buy 'em, be like, oh yeah, no, like I got the wristband, like we got to get out. Like, oh, okay, cool, But it's just like you're failing that class, so they're like they didn't want to sign off, but you're like, fuck it, I got the
You bought
wristband
the
anyways.
wristband, yeah.
I'm dipping. Like, so
dude,
yeah.
props to soccer, because soccer is one of those things where it's like we had to travel out to wherever, so we were able to leave early from school too. Um, those night games, dude, those were the best though. Like the night games when
Yeah.
we would play at night, that shit was pretty fire. Um, but
Co-
yeah, good
Como,
thing.
como you're like, oh yeah, I don't want my girls to cut and this and that, but props to soccer, no? Like,
Same
fucking,
as
Let us get away with so much, no?
sí, güey.
dude. But in this case, like, like I reference soccer because I was so into it for a lot of my life. But with hers, like she's into choir, and that's cool and all, or crafts and all that stuff. And I told her like, hey, if because next year she joins choir again, but they have a bunch of field trips. Like they go to
Mhm.
Disneyland, they go like to a bunch of places, and that's cool. I think that's pretty cool. And I was like, well, if you keep your grades up, why not do that? That's just
You'll
an
be
extra
able to do
activity. That's
that.
a look because I told her that's a
Mhm.
luxury. You really don't need to do that. That it's not a class that's mandatory that you need to have. It's not like a
¿Qué le
social
dices,
studies
no?
English.
Soccer was my future, right? Like
Sí,
this, I was trying to make a career.
I was trying to give everybody a better life, no? Like,
sí, güey. Pero yeah, it's just one of those things where again, whenever it happens, I just feel it's just a matter of talking to her, kind of referencing back to, yes, I did it myself. I'm not gonna lie, which I do try, dude. I really do try not to lie to her at all. Like I try to keep it as
Mhm.
blunt as possible. If she asks me questions, then I try to keep it again as blunt as possible. But having that talk with her, and again, just letting her know it's not the right thing to do. I think that's the only thing I could do. Yeah, if she decides to keep doing it after, then maybe other consequence could happen. Why not?
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
No, I mean, like, it's como estás diciendo, Tank. Like, at the end of the day, like, all you can do is just build trust, right? And
Yeah,
then take it from
Yeah.
there.
yeah, I agree. Definitely agree. Muchachos, pues ya. 1 hour mark, ¿no? Diría aquí,
Easy, ¿eh?
diría el Miguel.
It is, diría Miguel. It is a 1 hour mark here. So we are approaching taking a shot at life stuff questions and riddles. Are you guys ready?
I'm not ready for riddles, but possibly a question, yes.
I mean, I don't have a question, but I'm ready to answer a question.
I got it's double question thing here, Tag. So if you don't have a question for me, I'm only gonna take one question. Obviously, I for Romero. So if you want to look for questions for both me and Romero, you're more than welcome.
Pues Romero tiene like a new deck, ¿no? So
I got a couple decks here. Would you rather, eh? We're gonna
Así
stick
que,
with would you rather. I don't want to switch it up porque then I get, told de que. Pero pues vamos a darle con taking a shot at life stuff questions. Or riddles. Va, pues I
Spinning the wheel, dude.
spinning wheel. Aquí la tengo.
Leave Miguel in there, dude. If he sale Miguel, va a ser tank again.
nah, no.
Hey,
Still
hey,
a
Come on,
Guerrero
man.
at the end, no?
that's your brother.
I think I removed them. Yeah, I did. Vamos.
Come on, man. Chale, Romero, tú primero.
Tink. Yo primero. Let me unlock my phone. All right. Here we go. You ready, Tank?
Yeah.
Pretty easy. It's a soft lob. Would you rather lose your sense of smell or sense of taste?
Ooh. I think I would rather lose my sense of probably smell, dude. Just because I'm a big food person. So it's like not being able to taste again would fucking suck. But like not being able to smell, it has its
It would be
advantages.
it has its advantages for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pros and cons for both, for sure.
You see it.
I can dig that. What you got, Johnny boy?
Okay. Do you have any trauma that you haven't dealt with?
Oh shit. Any trauma that have never dealt with or I haven't dealt with? Definitely like my parents' divorce, dude. Like I feel like we were supposed to go to therapy. We never did. And it just it was a lot of it wasn't even arguing at that point. It was just a lot of fighting. And it definitely caused a lot of stress in the relationship with both my parents and ¿cómo se llama? And I feel like it got to like a point where it was just like that boiling point where we had like this massive argument, and from there it was kind of just like, all right, like let's like kind of start from the beginning, and it was just like, all right, like let's kind of like bury this, start from the beginning and move forward. And like that's how it's been since then. And like definitely like the relationship has improved with since then. Yes, but yeah, there's definitely like un chingo de trauma from there.
You guys were young, right? Like that's the period that you always talk about que se fueron para México y todo ese rollo.
Right. Yeah. Well, it was coming from Mexico. I want to say 2001, más o menos. But yeah, I was like 11 at the time.
So when I met you guys, in this case, I met you guys. So you guys living with your dad. Has it always been like that ever? Like, is it something? I don't want to get into too much detail, and I don't want to sound chismoso, but it was like, was it a custody thing? Was like, oh well, your dad had custody of you guys, and your mom did it, type of thing, or because that's how I met you guys.
Right. So like my dad had like the main custody, but it was like a shared custody.
Okay.
Yeah, and we would like have visitations with my mom and stuff like that. But it wasn't. It was written, but it was like like, oh well, I'm not gonna say no. If you want to go see your mom, or I'm not gonna.
Pues sí.
Yeah.
Because again, people talking about the strict episode, people are really strict with that. It's like, I want to go see my mom or my dad. It's like, no, you're gonna go see him cuando sea el tiempo, no, like next weekend or whatever. Like,
When it came to holidays, yeah, it was definitely like it was like that. Where
oh
like
shit,
como dice Romero de que like that he wanted to go out with friends for holidays, yes, so it
yeah,
was always that, like, oh well, last year you were, with so and so for this holiday, and now it's my turn to have you guys for the holiday. So it's like, no, like, if I don't have you in this holiday, like this year, this holiday, next year you're gonna be with the other person. So like,
yeah,
like, no. So yeah, when it came to holidays, they were really strict as far as that.
okay, I like that answer. Definitely was not expecting that, but thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Pues one of the topics in our bucket, it is talking about divorce, dude. So
Easy, yeah.
that's a Miguel original también, which last week's episode, if you have not listened to, La Religión, that is Miguel original as well.
And this episode también, no?
Romero.
Ya
Damn.
parece la Silvia Pinal, ¿no? Ya con puros topics and shit. Like,
Sí, güey.
Miguel is the Silvia Pinal of the
Sí, güey.
podcast.
sí, güey.
A ver.
Dime.
Who in your
No.
life do you think knows you the best? And why?
That's a good question.
Let's cheers to that, no? Porque I saw you cheering to that.
Sí. Salud, salud. Honestly, I think I want to say Carla, dude. To be completely honest, like she, like más que nada, because we knew each other for many years as friends, and we were always honest about everything with each other. So our relationship as friends was really honest y todo. And then now, as being with her for 10 plus years, it's like I think she knows me the best. Like I'm comfortable enough to talk with her about anything. Like I think we have a pretty good relationship. So I would say she does, right? Like there's even things that I can't share with my parents because of whatever reasons, right? Like so pero con ella is like I there's never been anything holding me back from sharing anything with her. So
Okay. Good stuff.
yeah.
A tu Carla, ¿no? Like,
Sí, dude. He gets a little possessive every now and then, no?
sí, ¿no?
A little
A
macho.
little strict, ¿no? Like,
Sí, dude.
A little much. Well, I would assume that Tank does not have a question for me, so we're
course
just
not,
gonna
of
move
course
on
not.
to.
but I do.
Ooh. Ooh. I like this.
All right. Va, Johnny Boy.
Oh, wait, what?
Wait, it's para Romero?
Yeah,
Va,
Romero.
para Romero. Besides material possessions, what is something that you need more in your life? So, besides money, besides todo eso, like, what is something you need in your life more of?
Besides material things, I think.
I know what he's gonna say.
Oh damn! What would I say?
No, dale tú primero. I'll type it out and then I'll press.
I was gonna my first answer was gonna be oxygen.
No mames. Yeah,
No way.
Bueno, pues sí. You need more of that? You're short of breath, or qué? I mean,
Es que cada vez que ve a Johnny Boy, ¿no? He takes his breath away.
sí, suspira, ¿no?
I think I know what Johnny Boy's gonna say.
I'm ready to press enter as soon as he's actually serious about this thing.
Oh well, ching out. No, okay. So if oxygen is not a valid option,
I mean, it's valid. It's definitely valid. It's just you're not suffering from needing oxygen.
No,
you
sí,
know?
pero pues digo,
okay.
sí, nunca falta de más, ¿verdad? Pero, no, I think maybe, I don't know if it's like power of decision making. I feel like sometimes I take too long in deciding.
We could tell, dude. No.
No, this is my mom.
Sí, güey. Honestly, I thought you were gonna say time.
I was gonna say sleep, dude.
Hmm.
You need more sleep.
It's like ahí va, no? Like hand in hand, a little bit more time to sleep.
Time to sleep. With a lot of oxygen and decision making, so I can just decide to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Easy, eh?
Va, muchachos, pues échenle.
Pues do you want to spin the wheel?
No,
Para
dude,
nomás
ya dale.
escuchar tu name.
Johnny Boy.
Ay, bueno. Dale, Tank, tú primero.
Ooh.
Oh, you ain't ready? Para.
Espérame. How do you cope when things get hard?
That's tough, dude. Recently, I feel like before I was a little bit more chill when it came to things getting like hard in any possible way. And I think I kind of did bring it up last time where I deal a lot with stress now, where it's like and again stress with things that I can't even fucking control at times.
Mm-hmm.
So I do need to let go of that. So how do I cope with hard times? First, it starts with stress, and then
That's not coping though.
Well, hold on.
You're stressing them out, dude.
Sí, ya, o sea, ya ni quiero contestar, dude.
Sí.
Ya mejor olvídalo, dude, ¿no? I don't know, dude. I don't know specifically. I don't know. It's good. The first thing that comes out is obviously something negative, which I did mention stress, but no sé, güey. I guess it's a negative thing what I'm saying, which I'm not trying to be negative, you know. Obviously, there's a positive and a negative y todo ese pedo. And eventually, I do get out of being stressed out, pero how do I cope with it? I don't know. Sometimes
More oxygen, no?
yeah, dude, decision making, no.
Sí,
Yeah, dude, come back to me on that one, okay, dude?
Va. On episode 100, ¿no? A ver si
Sí,
tienes una respuesta, güey.
Sí, güey.
Va.
The way I cope with it, dude, I'll be honest with you, I just keep it to myself, dude.
Yeah.
I really do. There's a lot of stuff that I keep to myself that I don't share with anybody. And you know, kind of like what Romero had said, que his Carla knows him, knows the pedo. My girl knows everything about me, but there's a lot of things that I keep when it comes to like feelings and stuff that I really don't share. But she still notices. I guess I have something. I'm just off, and she'll be like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like, "Nothing." Yeah, what's wrong? It's like, "Oh shit." So she puts me like in a corner. It was like, "Fuck, now I gotta tell her." But I really do try to cope with it, just keeping it to myself.
Y, güey, como she's gonna hear this and she's gonna otra vez
What's
put you
wrong,
on the
no?
corner,
Ahorita.
dude. Sí.
Va, dale, Romero. Put me in the spot, do it again.
From the would you rather pile, it's not bad.
Dale.
Would you rather talk to dead people or be able to predict when people are going to die?
Oh, that's a really good one, dude.
That's putting you under stress. No, you don't want to talk about
Sí,
it.
dude,
Sí, güey.
I'm not gonna tell you guys my answer, no?
He's gonna keep it to himself, dude.
Sí. Rate, review, subscribe, you know this.
Sí.
Just because I have a fear, I have a fear of losing the people that I love. I prefer to talk to people. Like I wouldn't want to know when any of you guys would die or what time or whatever, because I just wouldn't.
Be
I just
waiting
wouldn't.
for it, like-
I'm gonna be stressed out again. You know, I'm gonna fall back to the same thing.
But I like the thought process, right? But because of that, like you'd rather be able to talk to dead people.
Yeah, and then that I could use, I guess, in kind of like in a medium type of situation.
Yeah. El
where
negocio, luego, ¿no? Ya
eh,
cobrar por citas.
sí, hay que cobrar algo, dude, pero
Bamba clay.
Mama clutch.
no, dude, pero de verdad, like I could use it in a sense. I didn't think about the money part, pero to help out, if you know,
Oilo. Ya gratis, ¿no?
Johnny Boy and
donation,
beyond, ¿no?
Sí, güey. The donation, nada más, dude.
De 50 para arriba, ¿no? Donation.
Sí, güey. Pero yeah, I would definitely talk to the dead.
Wow. Talking about that, I am watching the last season of The Walking Dead,
Okay.
so I'm getting there.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
It's good, right? Yeah. Have you guys watched anything else, Tank? Are you watching anything?
Nah, dude, I haven't been watching anything at all.
Okay. Besides the Kardashians on our end, just we're trying to keep up with the Kardashians. We're also I just finished watching today World War Z. Do you guys remember that movie?
Oh, yeah.
I remember
Does
that. I always wanted to watch the movie. Nunca la he visto.
It's a Netflix. So
Yeah, it's a Brad Pitt, right?
yeah, it's a
Mhm.
Netflix. They talk about a virus.
Mhm.
Similar to like a coronavirus type of thing, but obviously these motherfuckers are into zombies allá con ellos. ¿Qué duro?
No. Yeah, like I've never seen the movie, pero it was funny that you compared it to coronavirus, but
It's a virus, dude. It's spread.
By the way, apparently Denver won, dude.
Oh shit! So they're out
Denver
to
did
the
win.
final.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, they
man.
won the
No, they won. Yeah, they're champions.
Oh, the championship. That's right. It was
Sí.
versus the Heat. Oh shit! Damn. Hey, they deserve it,
So,
dude. Really, they
for
played really good.
any parlays that they messed up, dude, pues ni modo, no?
Valió madre, dude.
I see.
Wait, did they win in Denver? Ah,
No,
no, dude. They won in Miami.
At
In
Miami.
Miami.
Fuck.
En
Even
su
worse.
casa
Wait,
con
Miami
su
can't
gente,
have it
¿no?
all, dude. They're already getting messy, dude. They can't have it all.
That's true, dude.
Y sí, eh.
That's true, dude. Speaking of Messi, you guys gonna go watch the five versus Inter Miami or what?
No, dude.
Is
Nah,
that a thing?
The last offer that I got that I was able to see was if I bought 10 pair of tickets at $250 per ticket.
Damn.
And that was like section 200. It was
Fuck.
not even the 100 level.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll pass on that.
And I'm sure that's probably even cheap compared to
Other places.
other teams. I mean, porque you see the Fire and like $20 tickets, dude. Like,
It was the same thing for Inter Miami. They're last place right now, and they were selling tickets for 19
yeah.
bucks.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then randomly,
Exactly.
all of a sudden, Messi's coming over 300 to start, 400. That's crazy, dude. I was telling my girl, it's the Messi effect, dude.
And I don't think it's wrong. Like, to be honest, like it's gonna do something. No sé if it impacts it at a negative stage, but people are gonna pay the money to go watch.
Fuck it.
Y pues le tienen que pagar su salario, güey.
Pero, o sea, tiene contrato con, o sea, not just Miami, tiene contrato with the entire MLS. Adidas has
Apple.
Apple. And then he has the option to be able to buy an MLS team just like Beckham did.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, the best we can do right now is hope that Messi buys,
Fire?
Fire, no?
Chicago Fire, dude.
Sí, güey.
Dude, if you guys had a chance to buy a team, not because you guys are from Chicago, you guys wouldn't want to do like an expansion team. I think I would like that. I would prefer
An
that over
expansion team, meaning like not the Fire, but like
something, in another city.
the Water Towers.
No, mames, but in
The Arlington Heights, no?
In a city donde no hay, soccer.
I would have to think of what city would make sense.
Really?
I mean, Texas is big enough to have another team.
They have Austin. They have Austin. You have Austin, Houston,
Dallas.
and
No,
Dallas.
well, I
has
mean,
3
meaning
teams.
Yeah.
MLS teams, though? Are we talking MLS or?
Yeah,
Yeah,
MLS.
yeah.
Austin, Houston,
And Dallas.
and Dallas. There's 3.
Dallas Dynamo. That's right.
Dallas Dynamo. That's
No, it's Houston Dynamo.
That's Houston Dynamo. ¿Todos quién es Dallas?
Dallas. Pues,
Ah.
I don't know their slogan.
Son una vaca o algo, ¿no?
Se ve
Like,
como un caballo.
yeah.
Perro, un caballo, una vaca,
vaca,
una de
¿no?
dos.
Un animal.
Un chupacabras, ¿no? Like,
Sí, güey. Yeah, they have 3 teams.
Mhm.
pues solamente queda San Antonio, dude.
Oh, that's true.
Quién sabe, pero I mean,
You
it
prefer
would
the
have to be
Fire? Like you
well,
prefer
no, it
to buy
has to be a
something?
city that makes sense.
Pues la villita, güey, ahí en el Discord, ¿no? Like,
Knock everything down, no?
y sí, güey.
Build a new stadium. But yeah.
Vamos,
Messi
muchachos,
effect.
pues it's time. We'll definitely bring on Messi and any new occurrences that happen next week. We're not doing it live next week, right? No, we still got time. So next week episode drops on Wednesday, just like any other week. And then the following week, Tank, you were saying you might struggle with a Thursday schedule, right?
Yeah, I would be getting home somewhere between 10:30 and 11.
The 29th?
Yeah, because I work Thursday afternoons now.
Well, also the 29th, that's when I go back to Chicago. So it would have to be on a Wednesday, if anything.
All right. Pues esta semana hacemos un barra libre on a Wednesday. We'll do a old school Wednesday barra libre.
Va, muchachos.
Va.
Échale.
Va.
Dale, Tanque. Despídete.
For now, it's time for what, dude?
Palabras de tag, dude, as always. A lo que venía yo. A lo que me quedé.
Nada más para eso, ¿no?
Sí, güey.
A veces me siento solo, pero otras veces me ayudan a sentarme.
No seas mamo.
Ok. Está bien, está bien.
Vale. Let
Así
the
pasa.
people clap for you, dude.
Así pasa cuando sucede, ¿no?
Sí,
Now, muchachos. Now we're 26 in. You guys already know the deal. Rate, review, subscribe. All these can be found at todostomanpodcast.com. Fácil, dude. Fácil.
ya.
Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and Facebook group. At Todos Toman Pod. Come on.
Mira, y
Ya no me lo
los ojos
pongan.
cerrados, ¿no?
Ya no lo pongan, dude. Ya no lo pongan. Ya estoy listo, dude.
El no look pass, ¿no?
Sí, güey. Sale, muchachos.
That concludes this episode, muchachos. Salud. Y nos vamos. Next
Cheers.
week. See you next week. Clink, clink.
Clink, clink.